Check test, check test. There we go. Hey, you can hear me now. I am here. I know, I got the sound. Thank you, Robin. And let me cut this. Hold on. Bing, bing. I can't, I wanted to do this live. Let me lose this. I'm so sorry. Hey, man, how are you? Welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. I apologize. I wanted to do this live because I've skipped the last 2 or 3 weeks. Things have been chaotic. I'll be honest with you. I got a lot of stuff going on. It's been a pain. It's been very difficult. It's personal crap and moving and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, this is the show. I'm going to put up a show today that I did. You like the new hat? Yeah. See, Anna hates the hat. I like it. I have to turn off one of these lights. I'm at my new apartment. I moved recently. I've had a lot going on. I've had to cancel 2 weeks in a row and apologize. Tonight's episode is actually an episode I recorded on the Norwegian Encore with Brent and Sarah, 2 magicians from Canada who are great. They're fantastic. They're very talented. I'm going to show you a little bit of what they can do here with their YouTube clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk for a couple of minutes before we get going. This is I think the best way to do this. If you are a Patreon follower, we're going to have a happy hour next week on Monday. I promise you. I should be all caught up and ready to do that. But let's take a look right now real quick at my good friends. These are Brent. This is Brent and Sarah. This is who you're going to see today on today's show. So sit back and watch their demo clip.
We are Brent and Sarah, a husband and wife team of magicians, and we travel the world performing for corporate events and on luxury cruise ships.
In addition to our live show, we also perform virtual magic shows from this impressive home studio.
Also known as the den of our condo.
Yeah.
The show is unique, interactive, and designed to bring audiences into the excitement in ways you may not have thought possible.
We've also taken some of the best segments from our live show and have adapted them for virtual audiences. Plus, we've created some amazing new content that is specifically designed to engage a virtual audience. It's a show that Deloitte calls a 5-star interactive experience that was very entertaining.
And one that Manulife Insurance calls amazing! A fun and entertaining show that our team had a blast with. It's a magic show through and through, and also incorporates comedy, live music, and a multi-camera setup.
And throughout the show, we'll even read people's minds through the screen.
Not only will we perform a show for you, but we can also teach your teams some simple sleight of hand to amaze others.
From start to finish, it's an interactive experience that will truly energize your audience.
So what are you waiting for? Contact us today to see what everyone is raving about.
After all, it's the perfect show for anyone who doesn't mind watching from the edge of their seat.
And it's one that you will only find with Brent and Sarah.
Hey, that's Brent and Sarah right there. That's who's going to be on the show. We talked. They were great live. They were a lot of fun. They were very entertaining to work with, and they're very cool. The sound on the full recording between the podcast, the conversation with the two of them is a little bit off and a little bit wonky, but it's not terrible. I got it fixed. But we got a couple minutes. I just wanted to say thank you for coming back. If you're here watching the show and you watch it regularly. Most of the people here, I don't have a lot of people here. Everybody here is, it's Patreon members and it's good friends and it's people that I know. We will have a happy hour next week on Monday for sure, and we'll talk a little more in depth. If you're a Patreon member, feel free to jump on board and join the Patreon page, and you'll get even more information as far as what's going on. The social media, let's see if I can get the social media feeds up here for you guys to check out while I'm here. Bam. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, okay. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, I'm throwing this together the last minute. So we're going to get right to the episode. Here's what we're going to do. Hey, Vince is here. Robin's here. Tammy's here. The usual suspects here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being so patient. We'll talk more on the happy hour about what's going on. I've had a whole bunch of stuff happen and a lot of curveballs thrown at me the last few weeks. I didn't want to go this week without making an episode, and I thought I had plenty of time to get it up, and then I had a computer crash. I mean, there's been quite a lot of chaos that's been going on my end, but let's not waste any time. Let's get right to an episode. This is Brent and Sarah. I talked to them on the Norwegian Encore. This is a great conversation. They're a lot of fun. Man, their show is great live. If you ever get a chance to see them live, they're funny. They're really great. They bring social media into their magic show on ships, and the two of them are really entertaining together. So sit back and enjoy this week's episode of Total Schmidt Show. and I will send a Patreon message out within the next hour or two. And the show is streaming live, so I'll be here. I'll be bouncing in and out. So thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Enjoy the show. Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? I'm back at sea. Here's what you're going to get from this show. It's kind of like quarantine comedy, except I'm not going to be home. Actually, it's kind of like quarantine comedy and a combination of all the stuff I've done online over the last year or so. There's sketch stuff, live stuff, stand-up stuff, travel stuff, and of course, conversations with others who do the same things that I do on a daily basis. That's it. That's the whole show. Then I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Nah, maybe. Sort of. Could be. Either way, sit back. I hope you enjoy whatever the hell it is I put together for this week on Total Schmidt Show.
Just go around wearing turtlenecks.
I look terrible in a turtleneck.
Yeah.
I look like a big fat guy with a fucking head on it. On a platter. It's not good. You can look at a turtleneck. You have a big long neck.
Yeah, that's true. You can pull that up.
Yeah, you can probably pull it up. So you guys you finish up. This is your last week here, right? You leave Saturday as well?
That's right.
Okay, cool. And now, do you move to Florida first, or you get another ship, or what's?
No, we're going home for a few days, and Brent's parents have a cottage, and so we're going to spend some time on the lake for like a week, and then we are moving down to Florida, driving all our stuff down there, and then we come back to Ontario because Brent's sisters are coming from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go.
Dude, that's great. How many months do you have off? Or how much time do you have off?
Just 2 months off.
That's good.
Yeah.
2 months off, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Have we started?
Yeah. Yeah, I always start and don't tell anyone anything. Why did you have an intro? I'm sorry. Am I supposed to do? Hi, everyone. Please say hello to my friends Brent and Sarah, the magicians. Everyone, there we go. I apologize.
I expected a fanfare, but
My bad. I should have got. Do you want me to call some people in to do a big thing?
yeah.
I saw the show. I saw the show. You guys are so good together. I know we talked about this briefly.
Well, that's very nice.
But it's such an original show with a husband and wife magician, and it's not just like a magician and assistant. You guys are both like equal parts of it, and you work off each other, and you're so damn funny. It's hilarious.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was.
Very
It was. Really, I can't wait to see the show Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Little matinee,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
A rare cruise ship matinee.
Yeah. Right. How lucky you are.
Yeah, we're into it.
That's all right. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Thanks. We love doing this. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
it's great.
But you started out as you were crew members and moved you away. I asked this because I told you about
Yeah.
JP, right? My buddy from Canada.
Yeah.
Started as a crew member, became guest entertainer,
Yeah.
which blows me away to accomplish that because that's a huge step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very much our thing. Sounds similar to what you've mentioned from JP. We worked in the entertainment department for Disney, but we were not even someone who had performed a magic trick before. Like we started magic when we were 25, so we were late to the game with that.
Yeah.
Very late.
25 is late to the game? Yeah, you're right. I guess it is.
Oh yeah, well most guys like get like a magic kit when they're
Oh, that's
7 or
right, little
8,
kids.
right?
Well, like you do in your bit when you're a 2-month-old.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay,
Exactly.
fair enough.
Most people get one very young,
Yeah.
fall in love with magic, get really good, and
Really good.
then put together a show. And we were really playing catch up, whereas we're like, oh, I like this magic thing. It would be fun to do. Kind of skipped all the skilled sleight of hand, close up magician stuff, and really
Yeah.
just said, how do we put together a show?
Right.
Like a theater
And
show.
played
You
catch
went to a
up.
big stage. Right. Yeah. Smart.
that's what we
Okay.
wanted.
Played catch up with that.
Well, your goal anyway was cruise ships, right?
It was.
Kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
were
like the other stuff too, but
very much.
it's great when we're together. And
Yep.
Yeah.
We just wanted to be able to travel, get paid to perform.
Yeah.
Here we are.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm always like I like when there's a lot of crew members that are like they're linked. They call it linked or whatever. Like somebody works in entertainment, somebody works in youth, and they're husband and wife, and they're on the same ship. So I'm always like, that's so cool that you guys can work that out and at least travel together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's even better for you guys because it's like you're bouncing on and off of ships. You move around, you got a show, so it's got to be that's great. And then you got somebody to be with you when you're traveling.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we got really lucky because we're both from the same country, same province, just 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people have to okay, I really like this person. Well, we might as well get married right away.
Start
so
that
we can
visa
start
process.
the visa game. And stuff. And then it's like putting the cart before the horse. But we've had a lot of friends who have done it, and
Yeah.
thankfully for most of them, it's worked out so far
Yeah,
for most of them.
Yeah.
Us included.
Yeah, us
so
included.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. It's very good. You now, you must like it. You like doing the cruise ship thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's the adaptation from before COVID to after? And we talked about this a little yesterday having dinner, which is completely different for you guys because you do so much crowd volunteer
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, normally
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
would, yeah.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
That's been the toughest thing for us, and it was the hardest thing to kind of stomach. Like I reached that very quickly, like week 1 or week 2 into the pandemic. Like we had this one where we used to do
Like a routine.
A routine we used to do where Sarah would have 2 men on stage. She'd have them each put a card in their mouth,
Like between their teeth.
Right.
have mistletoe over top.
Okay.
And then they'd have to kiss together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like immediately like that's done. We had another one that's done. Like
Right.
it's just things that's like
You're just crossing shit off your list. Done,
Yeah,
gone,
yeah.
gone,
and it was
gone.
like, and, you know, when you work on something and it becomes like your baby, right? Like you're so happy with it, and then to know that you're gonna have to say goodbye to it for years, maybe forever. Like I don't know, that was really tough. So we knew very early on that we were going to have to really adapt if we were going to, and we were very aware that like the no audience participation was going to be a thing for a while.
Well, at least you knew about it early on, and you accepted it and embraced it early on.
Not accepted.
I
Well, okay.
No, we fought it hard. but
Well,
we just-
what's a better word? You had to deal with it. You-
There was
You
just
had- yeah.
there was a period of grief there where
It
it's
was,
just
yeah.
like, because we really had been working so hard to get back to ships, and we did, like at the end of 2017,
Right.
and then we had 2018 was like pretty good. We were testing out a few different lines, like,
Yeah.
and they were testing us out, right? And then we like found our 2 really good ones, and so we're like, yay, this. And then 2020 was going to be like our best year yet in terms of
Which
like being
everyone has that
away.
story,
Of course,
Yeah.
but it truly was like we had the most weeks booked. We were going to go to Australia, New Zealand, and Hawaii,
Africa.
South
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah.
Like it was just, we're like, we did it, and we've worked so hard to get here, and this is so like it's just finally become easier, right? Like we've been hustling, and now it was just like laid before us, like ready to go, and then we were like, oh no.
Then it was just yanked out from underneath
Like,
you.
yeah,
Completely
like so
yanked.
fast.
For the
And
Like,
first
yeah, right,
six
right,
months,
right.
We couldn't even pick up a magic wand.
No.
Right,
It was
right.
No.
not that we use a magic wand.
No, we don't.
But we get the metaphor, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure,
it's
I
just like-
understand. You got to say magic wand at one point during this.
yeah, we're obligated to.
Yeah, you have to.
But yeah, so that was tough. But I mean, it has. I mean, I hate to even say this because my past self would hate having heard this from me because I was just so down and out. But it has made us better.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
no, I think it's made every performer better
Yeah, yeah.
in a lot of ways because you're like, well, first of all, you came back, you adapted, you got over it. Well, we got through the COVID shit, and you're right, everyone's got that story.
Yep.
I had a whole plan, and 2020 came, and if you're like me, I thought at the first I'm like, oh, this will be a month, it'll be 3.
Yep.
Then I really thought, well, it'll be by November.
Yep.
And there was a point when I really thought by November we were going to be on the road again or on ships again.
Yeah.
And then when it got into February, March, I'm like, oh my god. Then I got scared. I'm like,
You
oh my
just
god.
picked the wrong November.
Yeah, I figured. I was off by a year and a half. Yeah, but but right around that point when I started to accept, I go, okay, what am I gonna
Yeah.
do? Now I got to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, and for us that was like virtual stuff. Like we saw other magicians doing virtual magic shows, and at first people were just like putting it out there for free.
Yeah.
And just like putting their shows online
Which was a
or
very
doing
kind
it.
thing of
Very
them to
nice,
do, but it was
but
also
also
like,
like,
we don't want to put our stuff on.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
it took us about 8 months until we started doing virtual, and then we did that a lot, and then that's where we created new distanced routines virtually.
Right.
Some of them worked and lent themselves. It was a real trial and error, but it's like trying stuff out with no audience. I mean,
Right.
because there is
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
there, but you're not getting that immediate feedback.
Well, we did the same. I mean, I did virtual Zoom shows and all that
Yeah.
stuff doing stand up. And at first, I did a bunch of free stuff just to get online, a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I did a few booked gigs and a few other things. So but then you got to try to find. You got to find the line. You know what I mean? The line where you're like, I don't want to give everything away. Like,
Yeah.
it's good to perform, but then you're like, yeah, but a little kickback. But it goes back to what we were saying earlier about making you better, because, and I talked about this a little bit with Andrew on a different level. It forces you to be more creative.
Certainly.
When major things happen in the world, like we were talking about cancel culture and a bunch of shit, and
Right.
clean shows we do and all this stuff.
Right.
And there's a certain way to handle a heckler. Like,
Yeah.
20 years ago, there's certain things you could do on stage,
Yeah.
and you can't do them now.
That's
and it makes you more creative to find ways to and you either A, become more creative and push yourself to do it, which only makes you better,
Right.
or B, you bitch about it and don't work.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
You
got
have
those
to be
two
able
choices.
to adapt. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It
Which is hard. Like, and
Yeah.
it took us a while to like accept that and then be like, Okay, we've let those things go. Now let's focus on the future and be better.
And it's hard. I'm bad at comparison too, because like, you know, you think about like a movie can do that, right? Or a TV show, or
Can do what?
they can put something out there,
Yeah.
and it's okay. No, that's not acceptable anymore,
Right.
But they still get to put it out there and make money off of it.
Sure.
But when you're a live show, it's like, no, my plan was to keep doing this,
Right.
you know? And then it's like, no, starting today, no,
No,
you
none
cannot
of
do that
these
anymore.
things.
That cannot be seen,
Right.
Whereas they've already kind of banked off of that, and so it's a weird. Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah, it's a weird balance for, well, when you're live, because you're so in the moment, you're right there, you're in front of everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But the cool thing about the cool thing about it, like we were talking a little bit about, you did a lot of this stuff with cameras and stuff, and that's how you guys ended up doing the virtual show.
Right.
Yeah.
When you start to reinvent yourself and you start doing the virtual show, then you get motivated a little bit about creating the new content.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So once you finally do accept it, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck you want to call it,
Yeah.
you finally can do. Then you start to get motivated about, oh my god, we're gonna do this. Like the cool thing you told me about the video thing you did with you were doing a show, and you're like, let's go in the kitchen, and then you play it like a video.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're not really in the kitchen. You guys are just sitting there, wait, smoking. Wait, how long is
We
this
had
video?
to start smoking so we could do that.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
So we had to find something to do.
intuitive, but you know,
We've since kicked the habit.
yeah.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, because you can't smoke on the ship. Well, life is adjustment. So there you go. Constantly.
No,
Right on.
That's such a good point. It is because then you build a new skill and you add it to your repertoire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
And now, so when we left ships, or when ships left us, we had 2 shows, and we had like 2 45-minute shows, and that was like it. And there, even within like the second show, there was a couple routines that were like, yeah, this is good enough. Like, we're happy with this.
Our second show is a work in progress.
For sure, always.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now, since the pandemic and having to create more and do more, now we have like so much material that we're like, ooh, but I want to do this. Oh, but we only have 45 minutes. So that's a really lovely position to be in.
It's-
Like,
yeah,
now we
100%.
have way more than we need. So
Good.
yeah, we're thankful for
And
Good.
and as soon as we are able to do kind of everything we want to do again, we will have a real embarrassment of riches for that, which
Yeah,
is
it'll be great.
Is very nice.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good to have
It's a
more.
good feeling.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a great feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great feeling. I know because I like my stuff is probably not as planned as yours because you know what I mean. I
Right.
know
2 people, you gotta
Yeah.
script it. You gotta
100%.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some structure. There's a little structure to what I do, but there's plenty of times because I work the crowd so much, I'll get to a point where I'll get to the end of the show and I'll look at the time and I'll go, oh, I only have 4 minutes left. I go, oh shit, I can drop this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And with me, sometimes if I drop this one joke, I can add it to this other bit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's way more thought process really
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
when I'm on
So
stage.
funny. We love watching comedians check their watch because for us, it's like, no, I know exactly when this is because
Yeah.
it has to be at this time.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's. I mean, there is room to play, especially when we bring audience members on stage and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's when you're both talking, and otherwise you're talking over each other, so it has
Right.
to be quite
You guys are so good at coming on each other. You know what I mean? It's just it's almost like a George and Gracie thing where the timing is so perfect. It's like bam, 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 bam. You know, and the look on your face every time she says something kind of slammish. You know,
Yeah.
you're just it's perfect. You know what I mean?
Great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's got to be you had good people on stage. That's an art. I think it's an art to pick people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, it
to
is.
pick the right people on stage. Like
Yeah.
when I talked to JP, he said one thing he does is if someone's jumping around, he doesn't take that. Yeah, he doesn't take that person. Yeah, that's the
Not
last person
even
you take.
close.
No,
You're just
no.
like,
And it's so awkward because you have to pretend you don't see that.
yeah. Meanwhile, they're making the biggest
Walking down into
stink.
blind.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's like,
anyone at all.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You, sir?
It's no, it's a real. We have a type. We have a look in their eyes that we're looking for, depending on certain tricks. Like there's, it's the most sexist thing we do on stage. There's certain things we only pick women for because
Right.
women will normally follow what we're saying a lot better. Like
They can
they-
just
Right.
follow directions.
yeah,
Whereas
Sure.
Whereas a man will try and mess with you a bit more.
Right.
So,
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
really
That's
do.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
See, he's
especially
stupid,
that
man.
guy who's jumping up and down and whistling. That guy is gonna mess with
Yeah,
you.
that's
He
the
wants
last
to put
guy.
on his own show.
Yeah, he
It's
wants.
like,
Yeah, he's already got a plan.
You want like the shy person, and you want to be able to like bring them out of their. Yeah, right.
And you want
Just
the
pouring water on me. Sorry.
It's fine. You want to be able to pull
back in
them out
my
of
day,
their.
they had bottles.
Stupid boxes.
It's different. Yeah, sorry. You just want to be able to like pull them out of their shell, and that also like brings the audience along with you
When
in
they can
that,
see that
and like
happen, yeah.
yeah, and that's just so much more fun and enjoyable rather than like having I don't know, Tommy Showtaker come on up on stage like.
Yeah. Well, the guy that did the guy last night from Andrew's show that did the booster thing, or the booster guy up front, was the same guy that swore during my family show, and I knew it immediately. I looked at you, I bet that's the guy that swore, and it was. It was the same guy.
He'll be at both of your shows.
He will, 100%. I'll see him in the front row. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Have a great time.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah. But I'm trying to do. There was a specific question I wanted to ask you. Oh, fuck it.
We can wait.
Okay, where are we gonna go?
We had a guy come up to us this cruise. I don't think we told you. Who? No, the backstage, like stage manager, said to us, "There's a guy who's seen you before in Vegas. Yeah. He really wants to meet you after the show. He's gonna wait behind. Will you come and see him?" And we're just like, "We've never performed in Vegas. This guy doesn't know."
Oh, you didn't really?
He didn't.
No. He left. He took off.
He realized at some point.
Oh, halfway through?
Sometime.
And he might have stayed for the show, but he was long gone at the end. We went out to try and hunt him down because because we get that sometimes where people are like, "Oh, I've seen you on America's Got Talent." It's like, not yet.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
Unfortunately.
But we just thought that was so funny.
That's got to be so embarrassing for that guy. Halfway through, he's like, "Oh my god, I made a terrible mistake," and then he even left the show.
I don't even like these two. They're terrible.
Really bad.
They were way funnier in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. It must be an off night.
I don't know. Well, COVID really fucked those guys up. Things have gone south.
Yeah. They were also hookers in Vegas. That's weird.
That's weird. They cost a lot more. Yeah. And it was a private show, I think, in my hotel room.
It's way off.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
It is so funny, though. People come up to us after shows and say, like, "Oh, well, do you know," let's say, like, Tom Banks from Idaho? And you're just like...
Magician, right?
Like a magician.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, no, I don't. And I think people don't realize how many magicians there are actually in the world.
Right.
And just because you saw someone in a theater in your hometown, like, first of all, that was in the States. We're from Canada. Like, that doesn't, like, there's so many more than you think. And people get, like, so disappointed with me if I say that I don't know who they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Oh, do you know this guy?" And I'm just like, "No." And they're just like, "Oh, well, he's really great." And blah, blah, blah. And you're just
do you know my friend
"Sorry."
Grant? He works at a bank. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
Yeah, right. The same. No, we'll get there. Like people from Chicago, like, "You know Greg?" No, I don't know Greg.
No.
Yeah.
But this guy wouldn't let it go. He brought up a comedian. I can't remember who it was. It was a ship. The last ship I was on. He goes, "Do you know blah blah blah?" And I go, "No, I never heard of that guy." He's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was almost mad at me.
They get so upset.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's a lot of comics out there." Yeah, but dude, he's okay. Right. I'm just saying, he's got a lot of followers. He's seems like you would know. And I'm like, what are we doing right now? Why are you attacking me?
I'm sorry, what's going on?
I just don't know. Is that a problem? All right, dude. Well, you should watch him because he's, and then you watch him and he's shit. You know what I mean? Then it's a YouTube guy. It's not a comic. It's a guy with
so much other. And at the same time, we're not watching other magicians. We're trying to steer away as much as possible. And that's not anything against other magicians. It's just we like to take our influence from comedians,
right?
From even SNL characters or talk show hosts or
any other sort of comedy.
Cartoons,
comedy is really, really important to us as well. Maybe
more so,
almost more so than the magic part.
Yeah,
of things. Like,
I would say so.
Because audiences
fun. The fun factor is what
ultimately audiences want to be entertained, and so you can blow their minds for sure. But it's the in between stuff that also really matters. You know, like the transition between tricks or routines or whatever you want to say, and some people
is there
just
a story, is there a flow,
is there a flow to the show, and some people it's just like magic trick, here's another magic trick, and it's just I don't know.
And that's the worst show in the world.
I
know. I've been with. That's why you guys are so great. Like I've seen magic tricks that are with no words, where a guy comes out and it's the thing, and then you're like, oh. And if you see more than 3 magic shows, you're going to see the same trick a couple of times here and there.
Absolutely.
And he's going to do the thing with the balls, and then he does it, and you're like, oh, that's great, that's great. And then he pulls something else out, and there's nothing in between. Yeah, you're talking about like, especially since you guys said you didn't go through a lot of the prestidigitation and the studying and the hands.
That word. The prestidigitation.
I think I just said it right. I never ever said it right ever. I'm always like
juxtaposition.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh
my friend, there's a place in Michigan. My buddy Austin studied at that place.
Austin, we know Austin.
Do you? Well played. Look at you with the thing. I remember we just did it a minute ago.
Okay.
But anybody, because they're focused on the art and the craft, but it's a whole show. It's all one big thing together.
Yes.
Yeah, so it flows.
And to each their own. Like some of these guys who do that stuff, it's just absolutely incredible. And we knew we couldn't compete with that. And
Exactly, that's
that was
not our
like,
thing.
Right.
That was like when we said we wanted to become guest entertainers. It's like, okay, well, you know, there's vocalists, there's comedians.
Can't really sing as
There's
well.
jugglers, there's
Can't juggle.
hypnotists. What's the one where you don't need a skill? Oh, magician. Yes. Check. Sign us up, please.
Sweet, we're on, honey. Let's go.
Because you can learn it. You really can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can learn it.
Yeah. We take a lot of pride in creating unique routines and really trying to bring our own thing to it, but that takes
because
time.
some magicians do like create content for other magicians, and which is wonderful, but at the same time they can sell you, say, a trick, and it also comes with like a script and all the jokes. And so if you wanted to, you could just take from one, and because you bought it, like, you can do that, they're totally fine with it, and then verbatim spew out the same thing. Whereas like we try so hard not to do that.
To be original.
Yeah.
No, originality is very
like
important.
You said,
yeah.
like, a lot of times you'll see maybe similar props, or like they'll use certain things that, like, we'll all use certain things, but ultimately it's about doing something that also fits your character on stage. That's genuine to you. There's so much stuff that Brent and I like are in awe of and look at and be like, that would be amazing, but that also doesn't fit within our show and like who we are on stage. Like I can't all of a sudden be some like illusionisty, like, ooh, smooth, like, no, I'm a joke on stage, you know what I mean? So I can't so like, and this guy's a goofball. Like for him to suddenly start doing something like
you have to get all serious.
Like
if you guys at any moment you're actually, let's get serious for a moment if you guys don't
they'd
mind.
Be like, no, who are you?
But at the same time, when we first like started trying to get an agent for ships and stuff, they didn't know what to do with us because we weren't the sexy, you know,
edgy,
male magician,
like
female
assistant,
and with the dark and mysterious and stuff like that.
Or like tattoos and piercings. Like that's really what people have been, and we were told this, like, actually, like, that was our feedback. They're just like, we just like, people are like wanting something maybe a little more edgy, and we're just like, well, I guess, sorry, like, that's not what
this is why agents and bookers are idiots.
Well,
they really are, because they it's like in Hollywood, it's the same thing. Well, this works, and then something new comes along, and like, oh my god, it's brilliant. They go, well, yeah, it's because it's creative and original. It's not the same cookie cutter shit that you've been seeing.
Right.
So when it's even better to be different than everyone else.
How many times did that new person get turned down before someone saw it?
100%. Right.
Yeah.
Look at look, Stranger Things is a good example of that on some levels.
Absolutely.
Stranger Things was pitched to 65 different production studios and companies.
Was that,
Networks, HBO turned them down. Everybody turned them down. Everybody. And then Netflix took them, and then look what. And now everybody's like, oh my god, Stranger Things is the greatest. And then you see all these little Stranger Thing knockoffs. That's what happens then. Is all these people come out and they try to copy that now. Because then agents think, no, people want that. Now agents are stupid. I hate agents. Not my agent. I love my agent. He's really awesome. My agent is. I love you, Steve. Ron.
Well, they're just playing catch up then in that case. Crazy.
So, all right, I know it's great to be. First of all, how long have you been married?
Almost 10 years.
Oh cow! All right.
September.
Okay. Yeah. Now it's good to travel together as a couple.
Yeah.
But then how's that going? It's also not. How is this? Is it fun? What's the curveball? What's the thing?
Freaks. We just love each other's guts.
Oh, shut up! Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get you on a bad day where there's like one thing you're pissed off about a shoe or something.
No, like and being crew members on a ship, like our whole relationship together. Even when we were friends first, like we always, since we've known each other, we've spent all our time together.
We've worked together longer than we've been together.
Right.
We started as co-workers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like a year before. And
yeah,
then,
we were friends for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
A year? Yeah. Before we started dating.
Trial and error, we made this work. And yeah, it's been good. I mean, we've had a lot of changes. A lot of things have happened in our personal lives, extended family and whatnot. But this has been like the constant.
This
and
is
it's
the rock.
just,
yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good. And
it just forces you to you just have to get through your shit real quick.
Right.
Like, it just makes you sort it out right from the beginning. Like, you have to learn to apologize quickly, forgive even quicker, you know, like, and just to, because we're always in each other's space, like, you just have to make things fun that maybe aren't always fun. Like a stressful situation, you know that because I know him so well, I can like crack a joke that he'll think is funny, and that lightens the mood.
Sure, right.
Vice versa.
Because you know your crowd.
Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. And you just become like a well-oiled machine, I suppose. Like we just know how to make it work.
It's so funny because people say like, "Oh, I'd love to catch you two on a bad day," or see what you were really like behind the scenes or something like that. And just like Sarah, before you even got married, Sarah put it to death that there will be no yelling
No.
in this relationship.
We do not yell.
Really?
Like we can't.
Yeah,
no, it's
no.
just.
Wow,
yelling.
you are the opposite of my ex-wife.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And our relationship, yeah, actually myself as well. There's a lot of yelling in our relationship
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
as there is with most people, right?
Sure.
It's,
Right.
Just like, no, that's not allowed. Like, sorry, that's like I had enough yelling growing up. And so it was just like, you can't yell at me because I will cry and we will get nowhere.
Right.
So
Well, then good for you for not yelling at her because you got to agree. You got to work together on it.
yeah.
And part of it is also, I think this goes to what we were talking about on that evil fucking hike you took me on yesterday.
I thought you loved that.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was great. Actually, no, I'm actually thinking about doing it next week. Like I feel great today. I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad,
Of course.
you know. But
And
yesterday,
it gets easier the more you do
yeah,
that,
because
promise.
coming down the mountain, I wanted. If I could have caught you guys, I would have thrown you off the mountain. I'm like, I hate both of them.
Tripped us.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
assholes. But you guys, you work and you grow together. Like you growth together. We were talking about some of the books that we read, like being
Yes.
in the moment and power now. So if you're not feeding your soul and nurturing your mind and trying to grow as an individual,
Yep.
your relationship isn't going to grow
Yeah.
either.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Absolutely. And there are things that have happened in our life that could have turned us away from each other in terms of like, you know, Brent couldn't have been as supportive in certain situations and that would have even made sense, but he chose to be supportive and vice versa, like
Right.
that sort of thing. And so it ultimately comes down to what are you going to choose? Like, are you going to choose to do the loving thing or do the silent treatment thing? Or are you going to choose to yell or are you going to choose to maybe write a letter instead? Like, because that was also part of it, like the yelling thing, or we're focusing on this a lot. We maybe shouldn't, but anyways, but just like communication in general. I just mean like like we'd write letters to each other that because I would get like really flustered and not be able to communicate and properly, but then so we'd write letters to each other so that way I could say everything I wanted to say in like a calm way and I would have time to think about it and write it out. And so it's just stuff like that that you learned really quickly when you spend all you're like clearly
And that's why we did it.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to put that homework in because
Yeah.
knowing what our life was going to be like. Sarah's going to a wedding this summer. It will be the first time we will be apart for more than 2 days.
Yeah,
in
and like-
probably 7 years.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Like it's
Okay.
just- we are, you know.
We're a package deal.
It's a package deal. I mean, it's like if something ever happened to one of us, the other would be a total wreck. Like, we're setting ourselves up for complete disaster.
You-
That's in the
yeah.
future,
Yeah,
so, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That'll be the show to have
Yeah.
when one of you's not around.
Yeah.
So how are things going, Brett? They're fucking horrible, man.
Brent said he's just going to do the show as if I was still there.
Yeah.
Just like Burt Wonderstone.
Burt
and,
Wonderstone,
like,
there's a great part.
Looks like a crazy man on stage,
Yeah.
reacting to things that aren't being said. Oh, you're right. My bad. They're
Good
like,
one.
what is
Just
happening
say
right
something
now?
and
Yeah.
Just awkward silence.
Yeah. Crowd's leaving one at a time, slowly backing out the door,
Or
confused.
get a hand puppet.
Yeah, oh, that's
you.
good. Yeah.
You know, you should dress up a mannequin in her clothes and just let it sit there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then respond back and forth to it.
I think the technology is
It'd
there.
have a nice, like, Brent and Sarah's magic show meets Norman Bates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Psycho. I was going to go there. Psycho. Yeah, that's perfect. That's good. That's so messed up. Oh,
fun.
now, do you give each other the letters, or do you burn them and tear them up and throw them away?
I know, we do it.
You do letters?
Yeah, we give
Okay.
each other the letters.
This
and
isn't a
then,
constant thing. We've
No,
done
no.
it, like, when
No, but it's
we
a
need
tool.
to.
Yeah.
Right. It's a
Yeah.
tool that helps you. Yeah.
well,
Right.
So it's
Sarah,
like
tighten up your part of the act.
Yeah.
Like, just stuff like that, you know.
slip that mid-show.
Pull your shit together.
Yeah, get it together, Sarah.
Did tell the crowd, hang on, I gotta do here.
Yeah, just real quick.
Okay, hang on,
Just
just
a
a couple seconds if you don't
Gotta
mind.
communicate
Here,
real
go
quick.
read this, sweetie. Anyway,
Yeah, well, it's stuff like that. So, like most couples, say you have an argument in the evening, or it's the morning before work. Normally, you can go to work, like you each go your separate ways to work, and then like maybe be thinking about it all day or whatever, and then come back and maybe have an argument. Whereas like we are in each other's business all the time, so it's just like we need to sort this out like right now before
Right.
lunch, so that we can go on with the rest of our day. So it just makes stuff happen a lot quicker. But then you also, because you have to get over things or forgive or say I'm sorry, quick, like you just get it gets easier every time, and the arguments or the stressful, it shortens that time period, you know. And so you know what you need to do in order to make things better, and because you've practiced at it and because you keep doing it, it gets easier and easier to the
Repetition,
point where
yeah.
maybe then it gets even easier to avoid those types of situations that would happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be a grump when you're flying with your buddy because
Right.
that would affect Brent too much if I was just grumpy because I didn't get my food before the flight or something like that, right? You have to get over yourself a lot faster. So
Well, that's why, because that's kind of like, come back to what we were saying a little bit earlier. Things like yelling, silent treatment, being grumpy, those are kind of ego-based things.
100%.
They're 100% selfish, ego-based
feel like
things.
you're winning
right?
by doing
yeah,
that.
or you're making a point.
Yeah.
So you guys have an incredible amount of empathy for each other, which is that's what makes it work. Is you care about what? Oh, he's upset. I'm going to do this, or she's upset, and you know what? I know this will work. So you're thinking of them first.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's
great.
great.
A choice you have to make too.
It is a choice, but it's all
to put them first and like get over yourself, like you said, in your ego, and just be like, or we could have a great afternoon together. You know,
sure.
Like, it's easy to stay in that like grumpiness or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's way more fun to have a good time.
Also, the medicine that is doing.
Oh, you guys take drugs?
Yeah, I know. No. The medicine that is doing a great show, which any entertainer can relate to. What that feels like
yeah.
just to have that high of doing a great show.
Yeah,
we
recharge.
get to experience that together.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's just a constant tune-up. And when you're
always,
you know, even on ships, we're performing usually at least 2 nights a week, so that's great.
Right.
Yep.
And just getting to experience that, like it's every once in a while when you've got a few C days back to back and you haven't performed in a while. It's like, in order to get this relationship back on track, we really got to get back on stage.
That's not true.
No, I know.
But it helps.
Yeah, but it helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, the empathy aspect of it is it's not just a relationship with anyone. It's not just a couple thing, because I think you can almost take that same thought process onto a stage. Yeah. Especially you guys that work with crowds so much, and me that does crowd work, because I think there's other guys that will disagree or perform differently. You have to have some sort of idiot morons. Of course, they're all. I don't listen to any of them. You have to have some sort of empathy and understanding for the individuals in the audience in order to communicate with them properly. I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Your show isn't about you,
right?
Like as much as it is, it also really isn't.
Right.
So.
No, it's not. The only way it's a weird thing because it is about you, but it's not.
Yep.
But the only way to make it right is to connect with them, and the only way to connect with them is to understand and somehow have a feeling where they're coming from.
It's their enjoyment of you, their understanding, their perception of you. That's
that
the only
lens
they see it through.
Right. 100%. Yeah, and one thing that makes it really interesting on cruise ships, one thing I like a lot, something that works for you guys big time, is after a few days, everybody on the cruise ship kind of knows each other.
Yeah.
You know, so if you do a show like your matinee tomorrow, you're going to be a lot of people that know you. You'll bring somebody on stage that probably saw your earlier show.
Right.
And sometimes someone from the crowd will do something that's a callback to your previous show.
Yes. Yeah.
So you know, it's like we're all in this together. It's like a thing. Yeah.
And what's lovely too is like when we go see your shows and other entertainers on board, and like even like having seen Kinky Boots a few times, like throwing a little like dance move from Kinky Boots in there, and the rest of the audience has seen it too, and then like and then you're just all in the world together. And I think audiences really like seeing that as well. If like say we pull up, this has happened before, we get a
on
volunteer
smaller
up.
ships where everyone's doing the theater.
Yeah.
Right.
We
And
often,
so, but like say we get a volunteer up and it was someone from like your show that you really like gave a hard time to in the best kind of fun way.
Right.
And then you're just like, oh, it's Dave. Like everybody remembers Dave.
It works, yeah.
And then, like,
You create a community,
Yeah,
yeah.
you create this community, and it's a really beautiful thing. So
Well, it happens
I love
all the
it.
time, especially like I love when Andrew is a good example of my show. In the first, were you at the? You guys had the show,
with the
which
shorts.
everybody knows Andrew. He's just an 18-year-old kid walking around the ship.
And you've made that kid a celebrity.
I know, but I
is
know,
so
and
lovely.
if you think about it in some way, his vacation, he'll never forget that.
That's right.
Parent
You know what I mean?
celebrity.
Yeah.
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 Like, remember when he was? No, I don't want to say it.
Yeah. It was a good show.
It was a really good, very
You don't
funny.
even know.
Yeah.
But he's such a good kid, and he's come up to me like 3 times this week.
Yeah.
Because after a few days, everybody knows who he is.
Right.
And anywhere in the ports too, you could be having lunch, and they're like, Andrew, and
Yeah.
he's just waving and stuff.
Yeah.
We noticed this with when the masks came off on ships, when people stopped wearing masks. When you could start to smile at people again.
Oh.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you
difference.
would see people smile at you. They didn't say anything.
Right.
But
They
they would
just-
just
you
like
just, like,
smile or
knowing, like-
laugh because they saw your show and you brought that out in them.
Right.
And that was something that we'd gone without for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very emotional at
It
first.
Yeah.
You
was,
saw these
yeah.
people like just smiling because they didn't need to say anything.
Nope. They just give you this like little knowing smile that like, or then you see them
Yeah.
smile and then like start whispering to the people at their table like
Yeah.
those are the magicians. Like,
yeah.
and just what a fun feeling.
Those
to
are
be
the two
able-
I saw in Vegas.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, yeah.
Did we?
They were great then.
Much better.
Yeah, the mask thing's a huge deal. And you know what? The mask thing is so huge on stage. I remember performing on stage with people in the crowd with masks.
Yes.
And it sucked. It was like you can't. I mean, reading a room was really
Absolutely.
difficult. Yeah.
How far do you know how far you can push it with someone when you can't see their face? You just see their eyes. Like,
Right.
that's very difficult.
Well, it kind of is like again with the understanding and empathy thing. I said like I'll say something to someone, but you can tell if it hits the wrong chord or it might be going and you go, oh, I'm going to go a different direction or change it or because and then you lose a person or hurt them.
Yep.
You lose the room actually
right.
if it's then you're in trouble.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been wonderful though.
Yeah.
Being back and just
Love ships.
we love it. Yeah.
You guys are lucky. You're great. Well, you're good together, man.
Thank you.
Was that a sentence?
think
We're
so.
gonna.
Really good. Wasn't that what about it?
So you're moving to Florida now. How's it going to be? Are you going to be Florida? Are you going to be U.S. citizens or Canadian citizens or?
Wait a minute, like
Why wouldn't you want to join?
Yeah.
The meeting is on right now. Do you want to watch it? This is the big meeting.
Oh, right.
They've been talking about it all week.
we would
Yeah.
love to be. It's not an easy thing. It's not even necessarily too easy to get a visa. Working.
It's ridiculously difficult to do anything if you come from another country
Yeah.
into this country.
Yeah, yeah.
Even Canada. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yes. Come
We're
on. You guys are.
neighbors.
It's like you guys live in the attic. You come
Yeah.
downstairs for a while. You know what I mean?
Come downstairs. Want to hang
We
out.
basically we'll just have to leave a lot because we can't be out of the country.
We're
we
like
can't be in the
snowbirds.
country for more than 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not because we work
Well,
on ships all the time.
Does the ship count as an exit then? Okay. Well, then you're fine. You'll be good.
Absolutely.
So don't get fired.
Exactly.
Okay. Look at no. I don't want to do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Right.
still plan on. We basically still will be home in Ontario from time to time, still doing like the corporate Christmas season and things like that.
Yeah, but the travel will be way easier for you guys right out of Florida.
Oh yeah.
Won't it?
Sure. You have like for ships, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, yeah, that's been the only. We haven't been flying. Thankfully, we haven't been flying a ton since we've been back. We've kind of just been going ship to ship to ship.
Yeah.
It helps.
Flying's the only real pain, and that's the thing that we could go on about.
Yeah, no, because I got plenty of friends that had to kill 2 weeks in a hotel. I can't go home yet, blah, 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 or whatever. I mean, the flying in and out of Canada thing was difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we left for 4.5 months. Once we went back to ships, we're like, let's just go over the
just go
border
and go.
and stay over
Yeah,
the
stay over
border
for a
so we
while.
don't have to keep going.
Testing back and forth and whatnot.
Yeah.
That
It was
arrive
a
can and
big
all
headache.
that. Just yeah. So
it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're done with winters. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Where are you at in Ontario? Ontario?
Yeah,
We're
Toronto.
in Toronto. Yeah.
Toronto? Yeah, you guys get winter there.
37
Yeah.
years. It's
Yeah, we
We're
did. We
done.
did.
They have bugs in Florida. You aware of that? There's huge bugs.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
giant.
one of our first jobs is going to be to get one of those lanais. The
Yeah,
What's a
like
lanai?
a,
What's
like a
that?
screened-in.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
Area.
you got to get that.
little patio area.
I was at my mom's in March, and she's got a whole patio. Same, everybody has it.
Yes.
Like, everybody has one.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just sit out there at night, it's impossible, because
Yeah.
the bugs come, and there's the giant bugs. There's some that bite, some that
Got
don't.
that in Canada too. The bugs are terrible in
Oh, are they really?
north of the city? Like
Yeah,
my
like
family has a cottage.
I live in LA. There's no bugs in LA.
You know, they're seasonal.
That's
but,
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get nothing in LA. We have, crime and,
Fires.
homeless and fires, and that's what we have.
that's
It's a trade-off. It's good weather. Good weather, no bugs, and it's constant fear of death.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it works out fine. And I leave my children there, and I come here. And it's the type of father I am.
Possibly go wrong.
Good luck, girls. I wish you the best.
Yeah.
it's been a blast.
All right, dude. I think this was great. I'm really glad. I wasn't gonna do shows this week, but then you guys were here and I saw your show, and I can't thank you enough for doing this, man. It was a good time. Do you have any socials? What do you want to put out there? Plug anything? Websites? None.
mean,
Okay.
it's all-
All right, we're done. Goodbye.
It's all Brent and Sarah. We've been dropping off the social game for a while. But if you want to
Yeah.
have some fun,
Yeah.
go on our social media and watch the 11 music on Facebook. The 11 music video parodies that we did at the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, you
We had
just-
completely lost our minds.
Yep.
Full, like we're not
just
talking
saying
like
that.
singing a parody song. We're talking full production.
Yeah,
Sure.
Brent went to
Costume
school.
changes.
Yeah.
Really?
all this
Oh
stuff.
yeah, Brent went to school for film and television, so he put it all together and like all the sound, all the video, everything. I was in charge of costume.
Watch our descent into madness.
Yes.
I can't wait to see that. The
You
second I
will
get,
laugh.
I won't do it now because it'll cost me $500
Yes, indeed,
from the
yes,
ship.
indeed.
But in Seattle, I'll sit down and watch a couple of them when I'm
yeah,
there.
so
That
that's
sounds
just
great.
At Brent and Sarah on Facebook.
Brent and Sarah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank
Been
you.
an honor, Lenny.